Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your Monday Night Raw results and wrestling news around the world. Mickie James turned 33 years old. She was born August 31st, 1979. She and Nick Magnus Aldis have a boy named Donovan, who was born September 2014. And the late Joe LeDuc was born on August 31st. 1944, he died of lung infection on May 1st, 1999. Broadcast team member Scott Stanford turned 38 on Sunday. He was born August the 30th, 1977. Stanford is a regular host of the entertaining WWE Raw pre-show, and he also works for WPIX TV as a lead sports anchor. Former WWE wrestler Kazarni turned 42 years old on Saturday. He was born August 29, 1973. The Raw Dark Match main event was advertised as John Cena, Roman Reigns, and Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins, Sheamus, and Bray Wyatt. Congratulations to Josh Matthews and Madison Rayne. Recently got married in Nashville, Tennessee over the weekend. And WWE announced that Dolph Ziggler and Lana will appear on Miz TV for Thursday SmackDown TV show. Jimmy Superfly Snuka charged with third-degree murder and involuntary manslaughter in the death of his girlfriend in 1983. Still listed as WWE Hall of Famer. Well, recently, he was removed off the WWE website. Shooting earlier on Monday at the WWE Performance Center by an obsessive fan who had a history at the Performance Center, including an incredibly bizarre incident. The shooting was reported at 1:40 Eastern Time, so details are sketchy. The story noted that a man was taken to a hospital as a trauma alert. Armando Montalvo, 29 years old, was in critical condition on Tuesday morning after being shot at by a sheriff's deputy at the WWE Performance Center on Monday. According to CBS News, Montalvo was taken to Orlando Regional Medical Center after the shooting. The officer who fired the shot, named Stephen Wall, was not injured. Wall has been assigned to non-law enforcement duties for 1 week by the departmental policy. And you read more at cbsnews.com. Montalvo was arrested on August the 4th when he was found near the Performance Center in his car with a homemade poster for a former WWE female wrestler. The company filed a restraining order against him on August the 14th. Montalvo was also ordered to pay $5,000 for damage caused to the Performance Center after he poured a bucket of his own feces on the facility. Also been told that he has shown obsessive behavior over 2 different former WWE female wrestlers. Montalvo showed up at the Performance Center in a wrestling outfit on multiple occasions and banged on the windows to try and enter while threatening to kick everyone's asses. Because they wouldn't hire him. Apparently there's been a video of Montalvo mixing his urine and a poop with milk. As much as I appreciate help we get from readers, I assure that nobody wants to see that. I don't even care to see it myself, so I'm not posting it. I don't want to see it. So if anybody finds it, keep it to yourself. Police held a press conference regarding the shooting that occurred at the Performance Center in Orlando, Florida on Monday. WFTV 9 reported that Shannon Butler reported from the sheriff that he stated that the unidentified man shot by police entered the facility with a knife. The sheriff stated that the man charged a deputy who fired 1 shot. The man was undergoing surgery. The sheriff also stated that the man was obsessed with one of the female wrestlers and this was the 3rd time that the police encountered with the man. WWE labeled him as a deranged individual. They should have just called him a deranged lunatic, such as Dean Ambrose. In a statement released earlier on Monday, and an update on Japanese women's wrestler Kana possibly coming into WWE. She's expected to take her medical test this coming October in Pittsburgh. Scottish indie wrestler Nikki Storm, who was on the second season of TNA British Boot Camp, is also scheduled to fly to Pittsburgh to take medical tests on the same day in October. Regarding the location for WrestleMania 33 in 2017, it's noted that it's expected to be in Minneapolis, Minnesota. WWE source noted that the Wrestling Observer said that 2017 location is expected to be announced in this coming December. For what it's worth, Raw will take place from the Target Center in Minneapolis on December 21st. So that could be the date when they make that announcement. JR comments on Bram's arrest. Sad to hear that TNA's now suspended Bram has been arrested 2 felony counts of domestic battery in Florida. It might be challenging for the Brit to keep his credentials to stay in USA under the circumstances, considering that he is an existing arrest record that prompted him to get released by WWE. The entire matter is unfortunate, as Bram, a.k.a. Thomas Latimer, is a solid talent who I thought had a significant upside. When I first saw him in WWE Developmental, it shocked if TNA retained his services if the charges are validated, plus one has to feel empathy for the alleged victim. And if you didn't know, well, he was currently dating Ric Flair's daughter, Charlotte. Bram has also 2 previous alcohol-related offenses that I'm aware of. It's unclear whether alcohol played a factor in his latest arrest, but if it did, it would be nice to be wise to seek help. Regarding his credentials, he was married to an American citizen, or perhaps still if the divorce has not been finalized, but I don't know if the relationship lasted long enough for him to gain citizenship. But he was currently dating, like I said. And the TNA source also noted that he will have a tough time staying in the country given his legal record. Ross also comments on a former TNA knockout Sarita. Expect former CMLL star Sarita, whose name is Sarah Stott, to be a coach in NXT. Thus, just like the Boss has done with NXT. Soon after that, be on the main roster. She'd be a solid wrestler who should be making a good teacher mentor for her students as well as talent on the main roster. She also has Bell's palsy. She was also a Bell's palsy victim a few years ago. So that part I didn't know. Thanks to JR for those interesting news. And Sarita is a star in Mexico before she went to TNA. And it seems like a good hire by WWE. Frank Kennelly attended Monday's Raw in Tampa, Florida, and sent the following report. Overall, flat show. This is on-site report. I have been at better house shows than this Raw. Very disappointing. Rusev versus Dolph Ziggler was okay. The crowd just didn't get into the match or too much into any of the matches. The crowd did go crazy for Sting, but other than that, just seemed bored in his section at least. The Divas Beat the Clock Challenge matches were awful. Dean Ambrose versus Braun Strowman match was good because it looks like it's setting up a good storyline, but I'm sure WWE will screw that up too. I give the show a C-letter grade. Mike Green and Frank Kennelly posted the Monday's Raw in Tampa, Florida, and sent the following combined report on the WWE Superstar taping. R-Truth defeated Adam Rose, a forgettable match according to Mike. Frank writes that the truth was over big with the crowd, and a big pop was a fart sound that the speakers made. Yawn. The Lucha Dragons and Neville defeated Stardust and Ascension. Frank wrote that it was a pretty good match for the 8 minutes that they got to start. Raw Dark Main Event was advertised as John Cena, Roman Reigns, and Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins, Sheamus, and Bray Wyatt. Okay. Alright, Raw opened up with a video looking back at Sting and Seth Rollins from last week. Live from Tampa, Florida, as the pyro goes off, Michael Cole welcomes us to Letty's joined Byron Saxton and JBL, as well as they announce a Big Show versus Ryback for the Intercontinental title. Also, Team PCB will also compete in their first ever Divas Beat the Clock Challenge. Dean Ambrose versus Braun Strowman and the Dudley Boys versus New Day. And they go to the ring. Out comes Sting to a pop, and he says it feels good to be back in Tampa. And he also does this. Oh! He says the last time he competed in the WWE ring was at WrestleMania 31. He says he and Triple H push each other to their limits, and he will always have respect for Triple H. At the fans' boo, he says that was then, this is now, and this is Raw. He's got his sights set out on the sellout, says Rollins. Sting says Rollins is really good, but he's not Triple H. Sting says that there's been nothing but injustices since WrestleMania, and Rollins keeps disrespecting the most prized possession in wrestling today. Sting knocks Rollins for putting himself in the same class as guys like Bruno Sammartino and the Ultimate Warrior. Sting says it's one world title that he hasn't had after all these years, but that's going to change at Night of Champions when the last chapter of his career is written. We go backstage and we go to Seth Rollins and Stephanie McMahon. Stephanie tells them to calm down. Says a win over Sting will help cement his legacy. She hates to agree with Sting, but says he was right in saying Rollins isn't the man Triple H is. And they hope to get him there one day, but he's not there. And as much as they went back and forth, because you're not the man. Dolph Ziggler versus Rusev. We go to the ring. Out comes Ziggler with Lana. Back to commercial. Back for the break, and out comes Rusev with Summer Rae. Back and forth to start. As Rusev took control and beats down Ziggler all around the ring. Ziggler finally catches a sleeper hold on Rusev momentarily. Rusev back to the corner to break the hold. Rusev knocks Ziggler off the apron and hits the barrier. We go to commercial. Back from the break, Rusev applies a bear hug on Ziggler. Ziggler fights out with elbows, but Rusev drops him with a knee to the gut. Rusev with a big shot in the corner. Rusev charges in the opposite corner, but Ziggler dodges a splash. Ziggler with a big DDT. Ziggler ducks a clothesline and unloads on Rusev. Rusev blocks a neck breaker and slams Ziggler. Rusev with a senton for a 2 count. Ziggler ducks a super kick and rolls Rusev up for a 2 count. Rusev then nails a heel kick for a 2. Rusev manhandles Ziggler but runs into a super kick for a close 2. Rusev then rolls to the floor. Then Ziggler follows. Rusev nails a cheap shot. Slams Ziggler face into the steps. Rusev charges shoulder first, but Ziggler moves that and he hits the steps. Lana screams at the referee count. Rusev slides in at the count of 8. Ziggler barely makes it in also. It was about a second later. Rusev hits a big kick as Summer looks on. Rusev stomps on Ziggler and applies the accolade, but he slides out. Rusev catches a super kick, but Ziggler nails a zigzag. He covers and Summer breaks up the pin for the disqualification finish. After the bell, Lana comes in to fight Summer. Ziggler picks her up, and Summer runs into a kick. Ziggler and Lana kiss on the ramp as Rusev and Summer look on. Rusev is just yelling at her as he's trying to recover. Still to come segment, Ryback defends against Big Show. Also a Team PCB Interbeat Clock Challenge. Back to commercial. Back from the break, Renee Young is backstage with Ziggler and Lana to get comments before they hit the showers. Well, Renee hypes the rest of the show. At some point, the interview, Ziggler was already in the locker room. Summer Rae entered the locker room as he was taking a shower. So what's going to happen next? You know what's going to happen. Beat the Clock Challenge match number 1. Becky Lynch versus Alicia Fox. We go to the ring. Lillian announces the Beat the Clock Challenge and the rules. We get Nikki Bella in the ring with her sister Brie and Alicia Fox. Nikki has a Bellatron on the big screen, and it shows that she's 14 days away from breaking AJ Lee's record. Becky Lynch makes her way out with Paige and Charlotte. We get a slider video from earlier today with Becky saying Team PCB is going to blow the roof off the building. Back and forth to start with quick pin attempt. Alicia took control and tossed Becky by her hair. Fox stomped on her head. Hand, that is. Becky rolls Alicia up and gets drop kicked for it. Fox gets another pin attempt and a headlock. Becky comes back with a clothesline for a 2. Becky ended up getting the disarmor applied and wins in 3 minutes 21 seconds. Which actually, when the referee counted to 3, it was actually 3 minutes 19 seconds. But it's not going to matter. Because later in the show, that time gets beat. Well, after the match, Paige and Charlotte come in to celebrate with Becky. Still to come, the Dudley Boys versus New Day. Back to commercial. Rich Brennan is backstage with Ryback. He says this match has been months in the making, and the Intercontinental title means everything to him. He says nothing has been able to keep him down. The camera cuts to, then we see Summer Rae running from Ziggler's locker room. Well, that's where the interview, so I messed that up. What up? What have you? Renee, from earlier, apparently she walked in during Renee's backstage interview with Ziggler and Lana. She runs away, and Ziggler came back to the door in a towel looking upset about getting his clothes taken. So she goes in there and takes his clothes. Did not see what she went in the locker room, and then they came out. During that segment. Intercontinental title match, Big Show versus Ryback. Goes to the ring, out comes Big Show. Ryback was out next as we go to commercial. Back from the break, Lillian does formal ring introductions. Miz on commentary, they go at it. Show drops Ryback with a shoulder. Show with a back chop in the corner. Ryback ducks the next chop and hits a shoulder thrust. Ryback with a clothesline in the corner. Show follows. Floors Ryback and chokes him on the bottom rope. Show keeps control and steps on Ryback's back before mouthing off to Miz. Show gets a big elbow and drops for a 2 count. Show continues to manhandle Ryback and trash talk. The please retire chants from the crowd. Show yells for a microphone and then yells to the fans that nobody here can do it. If they want him to retire, tell him to come in here and make me retire. Ryback takes advantage of that and comes from behind, and Show falls on him for a 2 count. Ryback then fights back, but Show drops him again for another 2 count. Show kept Ryback grounded. Ryback started fighting back and nailed his last press. Goes for a splash, but Show drops him by the throat. Catches him by the throat on a splash attempt. And then Ryback blocked the choke slam. Hits the spine buster for a 2 count. And Ryback ready for the meat hook clothesline and fan chat Phoebe Moore as the Show gets up. Show blocks it and nails the choke slam for a 2 count. Show then goes up top, but Ryback catches him as he's getting to the top real slow like. As it goes back and forth for about less than a minute. Ryback goes for the meat hook clothesline, but Show spears him for a very close 2 count. And then Show calls for the knockout punch, but Miz gets on the apron to distract him. Ryback takes advantage of the distraction and nails Shield shot for a win. After the match, Miz is leaving with a smile on his face as Ryback begins his celebration. Still to come segment, Ambrose versus Strowman. Also Charlotte versus Brie. Back to commercial. Beat the Clock Challenge, match number 2. Time to beat, 3 minutes 21 seconds. Back from the break, Team Bella's in the ring. PCB is out next, and we'll get a sidebar video from Charlotte. She says she was born for this, and we'll do it with blood, sweat, and a little bit of flair. They go at it, and Brie taunts Charlotte over time. Just runs around the ring a lot. Well, that's all you got to do in a time challenge. Charlotte kept going for a pin, but Brie scrambled to the floor, and Brie dodged Charlotte many times and goes to the floor and the fans boo. Charlotte chases her, and Brie drops her down to the floor. They come back in, and Charlotte goes for the figure 8. But Brie quickly made it to the ropes. Brie then exited the ring and kicked Charlotte's leg and missed the clothesline. Missing the clothesline, Charlotte nails a neck breaker and a natural selection for the win. At minute 41 seconds. New time to beat, minute 41 seconds. After match, Team PCB talks in the ring as Team Bella makes their exit. And we go to backstage with Renee and the Dudley boys. Dudley's saying that they came back for 2 reasons. 1, they plan on putting everyone through a table. And 2, the WWE Tag Titles. Bubba says that they want to be 10-time champions. And to do that, they know that they have to put the New Day through tables. Then we see Cesaro and Kevin Owens walking to the ring. Back to commercial. Cesaro versus Kevin Owens. Back from the break, Cesaro comes out to a pop. Kevin Owens was out for another SummerSlam rematch. The bell rings and Owens talks trash in the middle of the ring about beating Cesaro at SummerSlam. Cesaro unloads it up with the uppercuts and covers for a 1 count. Cesaro with an uppercut in the corner. Owens fights out and hits right hand. Cesaro with another uppercut. Owens blocks a suplex and does as does Cesaro. Owens nails more strikes. Owens runs into a big boot and Cesaro hits a suplex. And then holding Owens in the air, Owens hits a Cesaro all the way down with a gut shot. Cesaro stomps him down and covers for a 2 count. Cesaro gets more offense and another 2 count. Fans boo as Owens rolls to the floor for a breather. Cesaro goes for a dive but stops when Owens moves. Cesaro follows him and hits a big running uppercut. Cesaro brings him back in the ring for a 2 count. Owens trips Cesaro on the apron and hits a senton. Owens with kicks. Owens with strikes and chops in the corner. Owens whips Cesaro hard in the corner and talks trash, mocking his Cesaro section. Owens with a clothesline in the corner, and then Owens nails a cannonball in the corner and talks trash to the crowd. Owens with a 2 count. Owens still in control and takes Cesaro down with a headlock. Cesaro fights out, and Owens turns it back around, and Cesaro into a ring post. Owens drops Cesaro again for a 2 count. As we go to commercial, back to the break, Cesaro has Owens up top. Owens fights back. Cesaro ends up nailing a drop kick and stunning Owens. Cesaro climbs back up and hits up super gut wrench suplex for a 2 count. Cesaro hits running uppercuts in the corners and goes for a kick, but is caught. Cesaro tosses Owens and gets another 2 count. Owens blocks the neutralizer. More back and forth action as Cesaro gets a Cesaro swing attempt, but it's blocked. Owens hits a big super kick for a 2. Owens misses the cannonball. Owens with a right hand and slaps. Cesaro fights back and slaps Owens' own. Cesaro catches the tornado DDT attempt and drops Owens in a crossface. Owens manages to get his boot on the bottom rope to break the hold. Cesaro lands on the apron and Owens runs into a boot. Cesaro goes to suplex Owens out to the floor, but it's blocked. Owens hangs Cesaro up on the top rope and knocks him from the apron to the announce table. Cesaro hits his ribs on the table and referee checks on him. Cesaro makes it back in the ring and drops Owens for Cesaro's swing. That's blocked and Owens ends up hitting the pop-up powerbomb for the win. Still to come segment. Ambrose versus Strowman. Back to commercial. Back from the break. Ziggler is backstage with Lana. She's upset. Ziggler says he was in his locker room and stepped out of the shower to see Summer with a big dumb grin on her face. As soon as he saw her, he grabbed a towel and told her to get out. Lana asks if Summer saw him naked and asks how he thinks that makes her feel. Ziggler says nothing happened and it never would. He says Summer only saw him naked for 2 seconds. She turns and walks away, almost like a fake cry. Braun Strowman versus Dean Ambrose was up next. We go to the ring. Out comes Strowman with Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt. The entire Wyatt family. Minus the missing one. We get replays of Braun debut last week as his appearance on SmackDown. Wyatt takes a mic and thanks Sister Abigail for his greatest gift, the Black Sheep, Braun Strowman. Wyatt says Braun's night is tonight and he will show the WWE Universe why he exists. Wyatt goes on and tells Braun to remove his mask to show the face of destruction. Braun takes the mic and says this isn't the beginning, it's the end. The apocalypse. He drops the mic as we go to commercial. Back from the break and out comes Dean Ambrose. He stops at ringside and out comes his backup through the crowd, Roman Reigns. The bell rings and Ambrose finally attacks, but Braun shoves him to the mat. Braun tosses Ambrose out across the ring a few times. And Braun drops Ambrose with a big right hand as Harper and Wyatt look on from the bottom of the ramp. Fans chant for Ambrose as Reigns looks on from ringside. Ambrose tucks a clothesline and unloads with strikes, but Braun grabs him by his face. Braun drops Ambrose to his knees and hits a big running boot that sends Ambrose out to the floor. Braun follows and sends Ambrose into the barrier. Braun crushes Ambrose's face into the barrier and pushes him at Reigns' feet. Braun then takes Ambrose over the announce table area, but Reigns attacks him from behind for the disqualification. Winner of the match, Braun Strowman. After the bell, Braun fought Roman off and sends him into the barrier. Ambrose comes over, but Braun tosses him over the announcer table. Reigns gets tossed over the barrier. Ambrose jumps off the announce table, but Braun tosses him on the floor. Braun then picks up Reigns and just tosses him into the ropes like he's nothing from the floor. Braun brings it into the ring and applies the choke on Reigns. Ambrose with a chair shot from behind, but it does nothing. Ambrose gets dropped again. Harper finally comes in and super kicks Reigns down. Braun chokes Ambrose out and drops down beside Reigns as the fans boo. Wyatt motions Braun to pick Reigns up, and he drops him again. Wyatt comes in the ring now as Braun picks Reigns up. Wyatt turns upside down in the corner and hits that strapping on Reigns. The fans boo as Wyatt family poses over Reigns. Then we go to the announcers for a look back at Cena vs. Rollins, SummerSlam, and Sting's promo from earlier. Renee backstage with Rollins. Jeff, if he's found his statue, and he says Sting stealing the statue is disrespecting every legend that's ever been immortalized in bronze. Rollins says he's going to call Sting out and demand his return the statue. Still to come segment. Paige versus Sasha Banks. Back to commercial. Beat the Cock Challenge. Paige was out first with Charlotte and Becky. Time to beat minute 41. Sasha was out next with Naomi and Tamina. They go at it, but Paige tries for several pin attempts. Sasha with counters and pin attempts of her own. Paige with a big running knee to the face for a 2 count. Sasha nails a forearm. Paige with a rampage, but Naomi and Tamina pull Sasha to the floor. Paige brings Sasha back in, but runs out of time and isn't happy about it. Lillian announces Charlotte the new number 1 contender. Yes. Team Bella comes out and we see the Bellatron flash on the big screen as Team BZB looks on. Another still to come segment. Dudley's versus New Day. Back to commercial. Back from the break, Renee is with Lana. She shows us a video of Summer explaining what happened earlier. She says Ziggler wanted to work things out between the 4 of them, so she followed him into his locker room. She says he suddenly started stripping naked and she was mesmerized. She was speechless. Summer says Ziggler invited her into the shower and she'll never forget the image of his wet body. She says Ziggler got out of the shower and gave her the look, but that's when she realized he was trying to seduce her. She thought of Rusev and ran away as quickly as she could. And she says she will never forget the image of Dolph Ziggler naked in front of her. And we come back to Lana as she's crying and walks off. She's believing the whole lying shish kebab. And we go to the ring. Out comes Tag Team Champions New Day for the non-title match. Xavier with Big E and Kofi have all cut promos on the Dudleys abusing the tables. They pull the table from under the ring and they basically wrap it. And they say they will not allow another table to be done. Back from the break, and out comes Bubba and Devon to a pop. Darren Young, Titus O'Neil on commentary. Big E starts off with Devon, and fans are already chanting for tables. They trade holds, and Devon tosses him. Devon with a neck breaker for a 2 count. Kofi tags in, and Devon slams him. Devon tags in, but Bubba and Kofi scramble away. Bubba chants start, New Day sucks. And in Kofi's face before they lock up with a headlock. Bubba misses a clothesline and a big boot. Kofi nails a kick. Bubba with a huge clothesline. Big E comes in and Bubba sends him to the floor, sends him into the corner. Then whips Big E into Kofi and then whips Bubba into both of them. They end up clearing the ring as they go to commercial. Back from the break, Devon going at it with Big E. Devon backs in the corner and unloads on the prime time. As the primetime players remind us that they have a rematch clause many times during the match. Kobe tags in for a double team move, but Devon takes them both down. Xavier pulls Devon to the floor by yanking the top rope down. Kobe jumps out onto Devon before tagging in Big E. Big E rams Devon into the barrier. Big E brings it back in the ring and works over Devon in the corner. Another tag to Kofi who stomps on him. Big E with another tag and more stomps. They keep this up as Woods yells at ringside. Surprised they didn't do the get the wood. That would be Xavier Woods. Kofi with a big running drop kick on Devon. Big E comes back with a big splash for a 2 count on Devon. Devon starts fighting back. Big E drops in with an elbow. Kofi comes back and keeps up the offense on Devon. Kofi goes up top, but Devon catches him on the way down with the right hand. Bubba finally gets a hot tag and unloads on Kofi with a clothesline. Bubba with a splash in the corner. Big E knocks Big E off the apron. Bubba with a big side slam on Kofi. He then grabs Zavia and pulls him by his hair since he got on the apron. Devon grabbed Woods and hip tossed him right back out to the other side of the ring. Bubba nails some right and left on Big E. And then does the elbow. And then Devon tags in and they hit the 3D on Kofi for the non-title win. After the match, Devon goes to the ringside and grabs a special table New Day was protecting. They wait to put Big E through the table, but Woods pulls him to safety as the fans boo. So to come segment, Rollins will call out Sting. Back to commercial. Back from the break, out comes World Heavyweight Champion and U.S. Champion Seth Rollins. He takes the mic and says he didn't have a problem with Sting until now. He blames Sting for WCW going out of business. He wants 2 things from Sting: for him to take back what he said about Rollins not being as good as Triple H, and for him to give the statue up. Rollins calls out Sting, but waits. But here comes Stephanie McMahon instead. Stephanie warns Rollins to stop talking about Triple H. Rollins says Triple H was the man when he was with Evolution, but that time was past and he's the man now. Stephanie cuts him off and says Rollins is letting Sting get inside of his head. She thought he was smarter than that, and it's not about him versus Triple H or him versus the Authority or some statue. She says he's the first to hold the WWE and US title, and he is the man. Rollins agrees and focuses on Sting again. He gets hyped and demands Sting come to the ring. Well, music hits and out comes John Cena instead. Cena comes out and taunts Rollins. He says Stephanie is about to make Rollins' life hell. He says he cuts a promo on Rollins and says he will be the new flavor of the month soon. Cena says if the Authority really had Rollins back, they wouldn't let him do what he's about to do. Cena says Rollins has a lot of hardware on him and brings up Night of Champions. Cena says he's cashing in his rematch clause and will face Rollins at Night of Champions with the U.S. title on the line. They ask Stephanie if this is true. She hesitated but says yes. Rollins throws a fit as Cena makes his exit to the stage. Cena's music hits as he stops on the stage. Out Sting comes. Sting stands beside Cena on the stage, and Sting's music plays. Rollins looks on from the ring and holds up both titles as they taunt him from the stage. Raw goes off the air. What happened after Raw? Well, thanks to Mike Green from ProWrestling.net, passed along that the dark match main event was John Cena and Randy Orton defeating Seth Rollins and Sheamus. Well, their cards of exchange came into play. And that concludes my results for Raw and Superstars for this week. Thanks again. Peace out. See you when I'm going to be in. By the way, if you don't know,